we will be live streaming going forward from now on every race. We will continue to upload the streams to the podcast places. So please tell your friends about us. Get your family involved. Formula One is the fastest growing sport in the world. There's about 100 million people just got through watching the Austrian Grand Prix. So have all your friends and family become part of it. Good morning, Formula One fans. This is the Formula One News Hour, and I'm your host, Jonathan Steele, and welcome. Good news from Belgium, and for the moment anyway, the track is dry. Why they had the sprint for the pole yesterday, I have no idea, because they threw out all those results, and we are back to Friday's qualifying. So we'll be coming up with the running order in just a moment, but Charles Leclerc is on pole because he came in second on Friday, and we will turn down the TV and give our good friend and producer Andre Kuhn an easier job. So there's quite a bit of cloud cover, but also quite a bit of sunshine in Belgium this morning. It's quite pretty. It is one of my more favorite places to visit. Always enjoyed my time in Belgium. This circuit is 4.3 miles long. So as I was talking about yesterday, it's quite long. The race itself will be 44 laps, and there are 19 turns, but there are plenty of fast places on this track to enable DRS, and we should see a lot of passing. So we'll have the running order here coming up in just a moment as the Sky Sports guys finish going through the lead-in and showing particularly difficult spots at this circuit. Just a few weeks ago, a Formula 2 driver lost his life here. It was raining, and he lost control of his car and then got taken out by another car. So it's quite a dangerous track over the years. It's had a lot of danger and a lot of deaths on this track. So we'll have the three tires: a red wall soft, yellow wall medium, and white wall hard. We expect most of the drivers, I think, are going to probably start on the hard. We're probably looking at a two-stop race. So the running is Hulkenberg and Ricciardo at dead last, and then we've got Logan Sargent and Joe Granu starting 17th and 18th. Then there's Alex Albon and Kevin Magnussen, 15 and 16. And then we've got Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon, 13 and 14. Coming up after that is Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. Gasly had a great sprint for the pole. And then the two Aston Martins are side by side in 9th and 10th. Following them is Lando Norris and George Russell. Both of them had an okay day yesterday. Then we've got Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen starting in 6th because he took a grid penalty of 5 places. Then we have Hamilton and Sainz, 3rd and 4th. And your starting grid in pole position is Charles Leclerc, and then Sergio Perez. So we should have an exciting day, exciting at the beginning of the race anyway, because Max Verstappen is starting in 6th, which on this circuit with all of the passing opportunities, I don't believe that that's going to be much of an issue for him. I would imagine by lap probably, I'm going to go on a limb here and say lap 4 or 5, then he will certainly be in a podium position, and certainly within 10 laps he will be leading the race, because as we saw yesterday in the wet, he was able to gain more than a second on the second place car of Oscar Piastri. So, and we're looking for big things from Oscar today. He had a great sprint for the pole, which it's kind of sad. It was kind of meaningless, other than, of course, the drivers did earn points and the teams earn points. And so we're getting ready here to start the formation lap. And while we're looking at that and waiting for the cars to go through the formation lap, which is going to take a good 2 to 3 minutes because of the length. Excuse me, my allergies are good news. My allergies are a little better today as we watch the Rolex watch click on 3 o'clock local time in Belgium to signal the start of the race. Of course, it is 8 a.m. here in Austin, Texas. And we're in for another beautiful day here. It's strange. You've heard me talk yesterday, I think, even talking about growing up in the cold, but I just love the heat here. We'll have a nice 102 to 103 degrees today. After this race, I'm going to go out and play tennis. It'll start when I start playing, it'll be in the high 80s, low 90s, and when I get through playing, of course, it will be over 100 degrees. So the key is, of course, to stay well hydrated in the heat, and that doesn't matter whether you're here in Austin, Texas, or where you are anywhere in the world. You got to stay hydrated. So interesting, we've got a mixture of soft and medium tires with Piastri, Norris, Russell, Alonso, Stroll and Tsunoda starting, and Hülkenberg starting on medium, and the rest of the field starting on soft. So that's an interesting strategy going on here. And as we know, Hannah Schmidt always does an incredible job for Red Bull in putting together a great strategy for this particular team. It's amazing, her skills. Just being able to do the right thing at the right time consistently. I mean, she does it all of the time. Quite amazing. So we expect a good day for McLaren, of course. And actually, we're looking for a good day today for Williams because their cars do have good straight line speed. The other guy that we're expecting to have a good day is in his second race back in Formula One. After leaving McLaren is Danny Ricciardo. Always a smiling force around the pits and around the paddock there in Formula One. Danny is a really nice personality, really outgoing, will talk to anyone, just enjoys his life and enjoys time as a Formula One driver. So at the Drivers' Championship, we've got Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Hamilton, and Sainz. Those are your top 5. It's interesting to me who's really not in there, and that's Valtteri Bottas, because in the years past, especially with Mercedes, he was always up there in the top 5. But alas, things have not gone well for Alfa Romeo this last I'm going to say year and a half, really. But when things are going bad, the good news is it can only get better. So as they complete the formation lap here, it's going to be an interesting start as we see the guys trying to put more heat into their tires, wiggling around as they kind of wiggle backwards and forwards to scrub the tires and get more heat into them, and that, of course, makes them stick to the track better. So we are probably about, let's see, where is the pace car? So there's the pace car coming up. So we are probably about 2 minutes away, less, for the start of this race. So in fact, we're going to go lights out now, and we're at 3, 4, 5, and we are off. And a great start by Sergio Perez. Tried to get to the inside of Leclerc, did not manage it, but a good start. And we're seeing, yes, Lewis Hamilton just edged past into third position now. And Charles Leclerc has maintained his lead through the dangers there of that first turn. So a little problem there for Oscar Piastri. And now we're seeing Sergio Perez take the lead from Charles Leclerc down that first straightaway. And what we just saw right there was the straight line speed of the Red Bull cars, and 1, 2, 3. Now we see Verstappen started in 6th. He's already in 4th, and Piastri's saying he's got some kind of damage, so his day has not started well. But so now we've got Verstappen right on the heels of Lewis Hamilton. So maybe I was a little too harsh on Verstappen by saying it's going to take him 4 or 5 laps to get into podium. And Carlos Sainz now is saying that he has damage on his car. So, excuse me, as they went into that first turn there, it didn't look like anybody touched, but obviously if they've got damage, they did. And we're going to see coming up in just a moment, we're going to see Max Verstappen move into podium position because he will take that 3rd place away from Lewis Hamilton with the straight line speed of that Red Bull, and that will be before the DRS is enabled. So they've just completed the first lap, and the team is saying they see the damage, and they're telling Carlos Sainz to carry on for now. The team is the cars are pretty well stacked up here for the beginning of the race. We're only seeing from beginning to end 9 seconds between the leader and the last place car of Piastri. So something happened to Piastri because Hülkenberg is now in 17th. Hülkenberg had to start from the pit lane because he had to change. He had some ignition coil problem on his engine during the opening of the pits for the warm-ups before the race, and we've got a yellow flag now in sectors 2 and 3. That means somebody is spun out, or somebody's car has decided that it's not the right place. Oh, and it is in fact Oscar Piastri who has spun out. So poor Oscar, a great day yesterday, but his day is over early today. So the nice thing is he's right there by one of the gaps that they put in the track to get these cars off the track, get them out of harm's way. So we're going to see a replay here, one of the start, and we're going to see what happened to Oscar here. It's interesting. The reaction time, Leclerc was 2 1/1000ths of a second faster than Perez getting on the gas and getting going. But let's see if they put an onboard camera here with Oscar and see what happened to him here. And he's quite safe right there. Oh, I see one of the Ferraris came across and just ran into him. That is really, really bad. But I don't know why that would have caused. Well, it could have caused steering damage, but that was the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz just came right across in front of him. He just lost control, but that Ferrari just ruined Oscar Piastri's day, and I don't know why. There was not a lot of reason for that. We see Max Verstappen nicely staying out of trouble through that melee, but we've gone back, as I say, that maybe he got that car running again. I bet you he did. No, they're showing him out. So anyway, another yellow flag. So it's kind of interesting. We're having all these because this track is quite wide in a lot of places, and they've widened the track here because of so many deaths over the years caused by cars. In a couple of particular places, the track's got turns in it, but it's almost flat out speed. So the Carlos Sainz talking about the damage that he's got to his car, but these guys actually just lose it. The way the track and the turn is, they have a hard time controlling the cars through that particular turn, and they're actually talking about putting in a right-hand or left-hand turn, changing the track to actually slow the drivers down as they go through that particular part of the track. So we're kind of settling in here, and Max Verstappen is just 4 4 hundredths of a second behind Lewis Hamilton. So it's not going to be long before that he is in that third place. What did I say? Lap 4 to 5 for podium. Actually, it looks like I might be turning out right, because we're into lap 4 now, and the stewards are going to be looking at that, and we're into lap 4, so we should have DRS being enabled, I believe, after this lap. Perez has opened up a 1.6 second lead on Leclerc. Alonso has moved up into 5th place, coming up behind Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz is in 6th and complaining about his car quite strenuously. He believes he's got significant damage there. So as we go through this race here, of course, we want to thank our sponsors. Let's start off by thanking Moms for Liberty, but we're going to see a replay here first of Hülkenberg going past Esteban Ocon, and whoa, I see there was a lockup going in. Hülkenberg had to leave the track, so that's not gonna bode well, and so he's had to give that position. He passed Ocon, but he's going to have to give that place back. So Carlos Sainz again is having all kinds of trouble. So anyway, to get back, let's start with Moms for Liberty, folks. These guys spend a lot of time and effort trying to get parents more involved with the education of their kids, get them onto school boards, get them into changing all of the stuff that our kids are currently being taught. And so you can join one of their chapters. They've got 183 chapters, I believe it is, throughout the United States. So please go to momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org, and join one of the chapters. And we've just seen George Russell. Sorry, I couldn't figure out it was Russell or Hamilton. We just saw George Russell go past Lando Norris for that 10th position. So Lando doesn't seem to have the straight track speed that this is Pierre Gasly in the Alpine just went past it looks like just went past Carlos Sainz, like he's standing still. And now we're seeing I believe it is Alex Albon coming up on Carlos Sainz. So Carlos, his team's telling him the car's not that bad, but Carlos Sainz's brain does not believe that, and he is losing position. So I wonder when they should have enabled DRS, and I have not seen that yet. So interesting stuff going on, and we're going to see Alex Albon actually pass the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz here in a moment. Which means that Ferrari does not have the straight line speed. But if you remember, I said at the beginning that we expected to see the Williams cars have a good day, because they do have good straight line speed. And right now, of course, Albon's in 8th and Logan Sargent's in 13. And Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton's complaining that the Ferrari is going over track limits. And that is causing him all kinds of problems. And we've just seen Alex Albon then pass the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. And right behind Sainz now, you've got Lance Stroll and George Russell. George Russell, I think, is going to pass Lance Stroll before Lance Stroll gets to pass the Ferrari. But we will see. We still do not have DRS, so I do not know why that they've done that. And Lando Norris is in the pits, and Verstappen on lap 6 has just passed Hamilton and taken up that podium position. So my original predictions looked like they could be getting to be spot on. I'm actually a little late, right? Because I think I said lap 4 to 5, and he just passed him on lap 6. So anyway, it's being a predictor is not dangerous in the form of in terms of putting anybody in danger, but it's really a lot of guess and a little bit of science. And now I see they haven't announced DRS, which they normally do on the screen for us, DRS enabled. But I did see Verstappen use DRS to pass Hamilton on the replay there. So let's see, Verstappen now is a mere 1 second behind Leclerc in the Ferrari. So in a couple of laps, we're going to see the Red Bulls first and second, Perez, who's got a 2.5 second lead on the Ferrari of Leclerc, and Verstappen's just turned in the fastest lap. It's interesting, something going on with Danny Ricciardo. He is almost being lapped. So something is not right with that car of Danny Ricciardo. And we got two cars coming into the pits, Carlos Sainz and George Russell. It's an interesting strategy, 7 laps in, because they started on the hard tire. The medium tire. So they must not be very happy with that tire. So now we've got Ocon and Bottas, who I also believe were on the medium. So it's kind of early to be changing out a medium. If they were on soft, you would think so. But we still got Alonso, Stroll. Well, Russell's just gone into the pits, and so they'll unless they put. It's a hard tire they put on him. So now we got 4 cars now on the hard tire. Carlos Sainz has dropped back to 10th, and Verstappen has taken, as I said, taken over the fastest lap. The two Haas cars in 14th and 15th position. Something's got to be wrong with that McLaren of Norris. It's all the way back in the 16th position. Of course, the poor Oscar Piastri got knocked out by Carlos Sainz, which was really sad because he had an amazing day yesterday and was looking forward to a great day today. So Pierre Gasly, who started off in 19th, is now up to 12th. Logan Sargent has moved up now. I think Logan started 17th and he's up to 11th. So as I was saying at the beginning of the podcast here, the Williams are going to have a good day. We were expecting a great day for McLaren. That is not going to happen. What is going to happen is we're going to see a poor day for Ferrari as we see... I think it's Carlos Sainz coming into the pits. Yeah, Carlos Sainz coming into the pits, and Alex Albon, who started on soft tires. So that's kind of interesting. So what are they going to? Let's see if I can see the fire. They've gone to the medium. So, which is kind of interesting. Oh, so we got a new fastest lap by none other than Magnussen. Whoa, that is really exciting news. That means those cars have found some straight line speed. We got those two guys from the Haas having a pretty good day in 11th and 12th. And Lando Norris now has climbed up to 14th. No, he just got knocked back down. Alex Albon, who had been up as high as 8th, but came in for tires, of course, is in 13th, and Logan Sargent now finds himself in 9th place. So we're having some tire swapping going on here, which is kind of early for this. Although this is as we mentioned earlier, this track is 4.3 miles, and that the team Mercedes is telling their team that there's a potential for rain about 20 minutes away. So that would put us probably at lap 19, so about halfway through the race, I would think. So, and we see now Verstappen about to move into second position. He has DRS and he has Leclerc less than half a second away. And Leclerc does not have DRS, so Leclerc at this point is just a sitting duck, because the Red Bulls got faster straight line speed, and with DRS, Max Verstappen is going to go right by him, right as he come up to this really fast turn here at Spa. And so now Max Verstappen is 2 seconds behind his teammate. So he's moved up nicely through the field as I thought that he would. It's really interesting where he passed him. He passed him, if you mentioned earlier, I said there was a place on this track where it's got turns in it, but it is incredibly fast, so fast, in fact, that many consider it dangerous, because the way the cars move through those turns, it's very hard to control them at those speeds. And we've just watched Lando Norris go by Esteban Ocon to take over the 13th position. So Lando's finding something in this car, and so we should maybe see him get up into maybe 5th place by the end of the race. At the current thing, they're already asking for the overtake award, and we're only coming up on a little close to a quarter of the way through the race. So anyway, let's see where we are on tires. We've got the first 4 positions are on soft, and then the next 4 are on medium. We've got Gasly still on soft, and then we've got 4 more on medium, 1 on hard, and then the rest of the field on medium. So we should see if it's a 2-stop strategy, we should see some of the leading cars come in here, the soft tires on this particular race. I would think that 12 to 15 laps is the maximum you're going to get out of them. And Yuki Tsunoda, in fact, has just come in changing out his tires. A very nice pit stop for his team there, 2.2 seconds. Yesterday, we saw something strange come out of the Red Bull camp, and that was Max Verstappen's pit stop took them right at 3.4 seconds. So a little hiccup there for the Red Bull team, especially that handles Verstappen's tire changes. Typically, they are in the 2.2 to 2.4, and even sometimes below that second. So something went kind of wrong there. And so they're just flashing up on the screen now that the pit window, I had said just a moment ago, I was thinking around lap 12. The window is actually lap 10 through 14. So it looks like, and I was just making my assumption of lap 12 based on the distance of the track and typically how many miles those tires are good for versus how many laps, because on the shorter tracks, of course, they can get more laps out of them. And if the driver is really good at maintaining the tires, he can actually get more laps still out of it, as we've seen from both Verstappen and Alonso this year, getting an incredible amount of miles from their tires. So have a little more tea. My allergies seem to be, the sunshine must be coming up. And Alonso is in for his tire change. He has been on the soft. So let's see where he's dropped to 7th, and now to 8th. And he's going to drop to 9th because I see Hülkenberg and the Haas coming past him. MoneyGram's got to be pretty unhappy with Haas right now, because they are getting on TV. They're getting a name notice, but they're not. The drivers are not messing up. So we're not seeing stuff from the driver's position. They have those advertisements right there along the top of the car, right in front of them, where the halo kind of attaches right there. So they need advertising. Anyway. So Haas, we've just seen Hülkenberg go past Alonso again. So Hülkenberg is up to 8th. Magnussen's 13th. See, we've seen so Logan Sargent must have come in for tires, because he's dropped all the way back to 19th, and Albon now is up in 11th. But as the cars cycle through the tire changes, of course, that will change. What is not going to change is that Hülkenberg seems to have raw speed over Alonso. Alonso, he just passed Alonso, and Alonso is unable to maintain that gap. Let's see what it is right now. We're 1.3 seconds, so he can't enable a DRS, and we just watched Hulkenberg go outside track limits there. So what's going to happen after a while? And now I spoke out of turn because Alonso is attempting to go past Hulkenberg. No, he didn't. He didn't make it. So anyway. A nice bit of driving by both drivers there, because Alonso was attempting that pass right where Verstappen took Hamilton, and that is on that really fast, really dangerous part of the track as they come down and into turn one after the straight down past the stands there. So Alonso is now just a quarter of a second. So on the next straightaway, he should use DRS and get past Hulkenberg again. In fact, he is going past him right now, and he has taken that position back. And so he finds himself in 8th, some 5 seconds behind Pierre Gasly, who is having another good day. Alpine, as you heard me say yesterday, both the lead, but the team principal and the lead engineer are out after this race, and I still haven't been able to determine whether that was voluntary or requested. Whatever it is, it's certainly you never like to hear or see anybody losing their jobs for whatever reason. Of course, if it's voluntary and they're changing just because sometimes. If you go to these races, race after race after race, after a while, the travel and the hotels and the same old, and remember, it's the same old. It's competition, but it's the same old. And who do we have coming in the pits? Hamilton coming in to get rid of those soft tires that he was on. Very nice pit stop there, 2.7 seconds. And so we should see in just a little bit, we should see the Leclerc, Verstappen and Perez coming in. Lance Stroll now finds himself up there in 4th position. He has not pitted yet, and Hamilton just took that position away from him, but he's on medium tires. So, and now Hamilton's gone to the medium tires. So interesting strategies going on here right now. We're just 13 laps in, so even for those guys that are on the good, they're good at managing the wear and tear on the tires. Even for those guys, they will have to come in here at some point for tires. And Lewis Hamilton just took that 4th position back from Lance Stroll. So your top 5 right now are Verstappen. Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Stroll. Behind them is George Russell, Pierre Gasly, Alonso, Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda having a really, really nice day. All the way up there, 9th position for that AlphaTauri. And where's Danny Ricciardo now? Let's see, where did you go, Danny? Danny's made it all the way up to 13th. So nice days, as I said for Danny today. I would expect really that he should be able to go ahead and get some points for his World Championship today, as we watch Perez come into the pits and Charles Leclerc in right after him. And in and out, really nice pit stops, 2.4 seconds for Leclerc. So that should put them back out in pretty much the same position. Of course, we can now say that Max Verstappen is leading the Belgian Grand Prix. And as we watch Leclerc come out of the pits ahead of Hamilton there, but behind Perez, but they both pitted at the same time for tires. And we got us a DRS train going right now, folks. We've got the Alfa Romeo we got Alfa Romeo, we got Alfa Tauri, we have McLaren, and another Alfa Romeo. So those DRS trains get to be pretty annoying. So whereas Lando Norris is in 14th position right now, so he's kind of stuck back there, but he's on the hard tires, so and he's about to take over into 13th position. No, he didn't. He did not make it. I thought he was going to get past Valtteri Bottas right there, but he did not get it. Max Verstappen is on the radio to his team, but I can't see what I can see, but that they're not displaying what he's actually saying. And he's got, they're probably talking about his tires, because he's got now 14 laps on those tires. He's got a 16-second lead on Perez, so he will come out probably in second place as he comes down pit lane now for his tire change, and let's see if they've worked out that little kink they had yesterday. So he stops, up, change, down, on his way again. Very nice, 2.5 seconds. So let's see where he's going to come out. Who is that? That's his teammate passing him. So he's going to come out about 3 seconds behind Sergio Perez. Excuse me. Lewis Hamilton has just turned in the fastest lap, so that's kind of interesting. And he is 2.5 seconds behind Leclerc. As we watch Verstappen and Perez, and Verstappen is quickly making up time, even though he's got the fresher tires. Perez's tires should be settled in by now. So Hamilton is being investigated again. It's interesting, for a guy that's as good a driver as he is, every race he has some type of incident with someone on the track. And it usually involves like just what happened to him right there with Lance Stroll, where they're bumping into each other. And that's on a track this wide. Well, on any one of these Formula One tracks, they're all wide. You can go three cars wide down these tracks. So yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling why that keeps happening to him. So what's happened to our friends in the Haas? We got Hulkenberg all the way back in 19th position right now, and that's because he's still on those soft tires and they'll have lost all grip. So I'm sure they're going to bring him in to do that right now. Right now, yeah. So anyway, we're also watching Alonso fighting with George Russell for that 6th position, and it looks like the Aston Martin's got a little bit of raw speed over that Ferrari. So as they come in to DRS zones, in fact, he's just gone past him. In fact, both of those Aston Martins have just gone past George Russell. So that's very interesting. So, and now we've got ourselves a little DRS train going. Lance Stroll doesn't, but right behind him is his teammate. So, and now we're going to watch Max Verstappen take over first place here in just a few moments from his teammate Sergio Perez. So it's taken him, what did I say at the beginning? By lap 20, he should be in first place. So that prediction is also going to come true, because he's about to overtake his teammate here in just a moment. And as we watch him come up going through these turns, he's actually faster in the turns as well as the straightaway. So Sergio really doesn't stand a chance. And he's doing it without DRS. So that right there, folks, is just the difference in drivers. The Verstappen is just a faster driver than Sergio Perez. And that's nothing but raw talent. They're driving essentially almost identical cars. They got the same tires right now. Perez's tires have got probably a little more grip because he's got about 2-3 laps on Max over that. But interesting, Perez is doing some blocking moves on his teammate that don't really make a lot of sense why you do that, because that just gives the other cars behind him the ability to catch up. and Verstappen has just taken over the fastest lap, as he really is. His front wheels are as close to touching Perez's rear wheels as you can get without being dangerous. So we've got 1 minute and 50 seconds to get through 4.3 miles, 4.3 miles, 4.2 miles, whatever it was. Anyway, it's pretty damn fast, folks. And Verstappen is going to go past him. Perez didn't have an option there; he had to let him go past. And so on lap 17. Max Verstappen has moved from 5th place all the way up to 1st place. And so right now, the way it looks, unless something really weird happens, Alonso is 10 seconds behind Hamilton. And let's see, who was that? That was George Russell just taking that position, that 6th position back from Lance Stroll. But he's a good 2 or 3 seconds behind. Look, Pierre Gasly is still out there on those soft tires. How does that happen? That's just crazy amazing. As we're watching a replay of the Verstappen Perez pass there. So we've had a really interesting race so far today, guys. It's been lots of positions moving, lots of little strategies going on. Lots of I would say for McLaren a lot of heartache today. Piastri's out, Norris is down in 16th position, and they had such an incredible day yesterday. What's the difference? Well, the temperature is colder than it was yesterday, and the track is dry. So those are your main things. But that's not the reason Oscar Piastri's not in this race anymore. The reason Oscar Piastri's not in this race anymore is because Carlos Sainz took him out, and Carlos Sainz now is probably where he should be. And Carlos Sainz is saying, no, his team is saying that they're expecting rain, and we just watched Lance Stroll lock up going there into the turn 1 as he's being chased down there by Pierre Gasly. And I'm thinking Pierre Gasly is actually going to take that position away from him. And you can tell how cold it is in Belgium today, because the crowd have got all their winter woolies on. And these guys, remember that for them, 60 degrees, 65 degrees is a really hot day, and they're going to have their little shorts on, their little summer dresses on, and all that kind of stuff. And they don't have it. And we've just seen a camera shot here of the rain off there in the distance, and it's not too far in the distance. That's the bad news. The good news is it does look like it's going to be a quick shower, and then it's going to move on. But they're now saying that in turn 15, that there is some spots of rain coming down. As long as it's spotty, as long as I don't know if any of you out there as tennis players, but sometimes when we're playing tennis, we get some rain falling on the tennis court, and unless it kind of gets covered in rain, we just keep on playing. Especially here in Austin, because it dries almost as fast as it hits the ground. It's got to really be a steady rain before it'll actually stop play, as you say. So here it's going to depend on just how much rain hits this track as to what these teams are going to do. Are they going to pull in early? Maybe get those intermediate wet tires on. I don't know, but they're just showing now how close Pierre Gasly is. Excuse me. How close Pierre Gasly is to Lance Stroll. Where's our friend Ricardo? He's up in 13th. So his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, where are you, Yuki? Looks like what happened? Stroll, Alonso, Russell, Stroll, Gasly. Yuki's in 9th. So slowly, Danny is catching Yuki up. So Yuki's having a really nice race. Logan Sargent's still hanging back there, so something, some setup or the tires that he got he didn't like. So anyway, his teammate Alex Albon is doing okay. He's up there in 11th. It's interesting because I would have thought Alex, as well as the car's been behaving, he would be ahead of both Tsunoda and Gasly. But at this moment, he's not. So right now, at the very front, I don't see anything changing. Excuse me. Verstappen's opened up a 4-second lead on his teammate Perez, who's got a 5-second lead on Leclerc, who's got a 3-4 second lead on Hamilton, who has a 10-second lead on Alonso. So really the battles right now are right there between 7th, 8th, 9th, where we've got less than a second separating these three cars. And they'll slowly change places because the lead car does not have DRS, but the two cars behind do. So they'll just take it in turns to pass each other. Then they'll get past each other, and then they'll take it in turns to pass each other. So unless one of them can show some really incredibly good straight line speed, and what happened with Stroll there, it's almost like he almost slowed down too much for the corner, and both those cars of Tsunoda and Gasly just went right by him. And and they're opening up time. So I wonder if something has happened to that car of Lance Stroll, because now we're going to see Yuki Tsunoda is going to get past Gasly, and you can see certainly coming up on the hairpin at turn 15, you can see the rain going across there. And literally the full-blown rain, and we can see the rain hitting the camera lens, but the full-blown rain is literally probably 300-400 yards away from that turn, and it's not affecting the race right now. So if it's been going in that east-west direction and just keeps going, then there's a good chance that it will not. And so anyway, Lance Stroll has recovered. It must have been a Lance Stroll thing. He's recovered from his little upset, and he has now moved back to within a half a second DRS of Yuki Tsunoda. And Verstappen is saying it's raining quite a lot. So we're going to have to see what happens here. It's not raining over all of the track. It's just raining over part of it. And we see the Aston Martins getting ready to come in. Who are they going to bring in here? My guess is it's going to be Alonso, but let's see. It is in fact Lance Stroll, I believe, that they're bringing in right here. I can't. Yeah, no, it is. It is Lance Stroll that is in the pits, and let's see. It's going to be interesting what tire that. See if we can see what tire they're going to go to. 1, 2. Let's go and. Yeah, on, off. Oh, they're staying on the slick. So, wow, that was a long time. Probably 4 seconds. Yeah, 4.3 seconds. So they have stuck with the slick tires. So they're not expecting that rain to have that big an adverse effect on the cars. Because it's a big risk to go to the intermediates anyway, because you're going to lose, 3 to 4 seconds per lap. And let's see, we're watching Max Verstappen here as he's going down the fastest part of the track. Whoops. And he nearly lost it there. Whoa. I almost lost it. Yes, he did. And that's that part of the track that I was talking about earlier, where it's got turns in the middle of it, but you're going downhill and up a slight hill through the turn. And the car just absolutely just does all kinds of crazy things, as we saw with Max Verstappen right there. He did a really nice job of keeping control of that car down there. So we'll probably see him with a 4 second lead. We'll probably see him ease off a little bit next time around, because that I'm sure was way too uncomfortable for him going through there, because he really did. As he said, I almost lost it, and he really did. So while we're kind of cruising along here, why don't we thank another one of our sponsors? Let's go ahead and thank Give, Send, Go. Folks, you can't always help what happens to you in life. You know, get an illness, get in a car wreck, maybe a friend needs help, a family member needs help, but you can make good choices on who you get to help you through those hard times. And the folks that I would recommend that you go to is Give, Send, Go. GiveSendGo.com. They don't have any censorshipping. They don't have any type of rules around, you know, your political, your cultural, whatever. They don't care. They're just a really nice Christian organization that likes to help people out. So please, if you've got needs for some little additional money to help you through a tough time, or you know of a friend, or maybe just a stranger that needs help, then please go to GiveSendGo.com. That is GiveSendGo.com. As we're watching now, who is that? That is Valtteri Bottas, by the looks of it, passing Magnussen. And where is Lando Norris? Lando Norris can't get a break today, and we're seeing now the effects of the small amount of the rain up there on turn 15 and behind, because Lando Norris just about lost it as he goes to pass Logan Sargent. And now they're telling Lewis Hamilton to box. So let's see if they are going to, we're right at halfway through the race, so let's see if they're going to go to the intermediate tire, or if they're going to stick with the slick. So it's going to be really, really interesting here as we get ready to watch Hamilton change tires. And we're going to watch right here where Lando Norris almost lost it on this turn because his car just didn't stick to the road because of the slight dampness in there. So it kind of drifted, and now we're seeing the rain come down across pit lane. So I think Mercedes is pulling a fast one here, and they're going to go to the intermediate tire. Let's have a look as he pulls in and stop up. No, staying with the slicks. So they must not be expecting this rain, one, to last very long, or two, to be very serious. and looking at the cloud in the background, I think it's probably a smart move, because they can just take the turns a little slower. The track is not wet. It's got a sprinkling of water on it, but it's not wet, so it's affecting grip a little bit, but not a lot. As we're watching Yuki Tsunoda here, trying to get past Alex, trying to get past that's a stranger. He's trying to get past Alonso, and Alex Albon has just passed Esteban Ocon. Who is that chasing him? Let's see. We've got Lando Norris now coming up on Joe Granu. I thought it was Valtteri Bottas, and it was Joe Granu. And it looks like he's going to take that position away. So anyway, and in fact, Lando Norris takes away that 13th position. So another couple of passes, and he shall be back into making points for his team, as we watch George Russell go past Logan Sargent for that 15th position. So Logan is not having a great day. He should be having, a better day in that car. He should be having a better day in that car than what he's having, but he's not. Because that car's got really good straight line speed, and Hulkenberg has just gone past Joe Granu as well, so that Alfa Romeo still has no straight line speed as we watch the replay of George Russell going past. You know when it's getting boring, right? For those professional commentators on Sky Sports, because they got to go to replays to start filling in the spots. And right now they're looking at the same thing that I'm looking at, and that's right now, other than the middle field, and I'm talking now from position 10th through 15th. there's not a lot going on. The most interesting thing of the day is, are they going to go to the intermediate wet tires? But we're watching. The interesting thing, nice. We are watching, and he's probably going to get the overtake of the day award, because now we're watching Lando Norris move up into points position, and Carlos Sainz has retired from the race, folks. No warning on that, but if you remember, he had been complaining about his car all along, and we've got now Pierre Gasly in, finally taking off those soft tires. Had a trouble with the right front wheel, so that's a 4-second stop right there at least. Let's see if they're going to tell us what it is. That's bad news for Pierre Gasly. Oh, and he almost ran into, I think that would be Alex Albon. So Alex Albon maintained the speed coming out on pit lane. But so what I was saying about the Sky Sports commentators, they're looking at the same thing I'm looking at, and that's the time differences on those top 5 to 10 drivers. They're all out there. And they're all with 5 to 8 seconds between them, so there's nothing going to happen there. They just keep adding a little bit to the time, and so Lando Norris now got to get overtake of the day, because he is now just moved up into 8th position. So very, very nice thing for him, but he just got passed by George Russell. That's so that's kind of sad. But George had DRS and he didn't. So when they catch up to the next guy, which is Magnussen, who is 3 seconds further up the field, and we just watch Hülkenberg here going past Danny Ricciardo. Danny Ricciardo, going past Hülkenberg. So that's nice. Danny's picking up the pace a little bit. We're a little way over halfway through this race as we watch the overtake again from George Russell on Lando Norris. And like I said, Lando didn't stand any chance because George had DRS and he didn't. So, that's got to be a pretty helpless feeling if you're sitting there as a race car driver, knowing that you're going to get passed and there's nothing you can do about it because the guy's got a little button on his steering wheel that he pushes that gives him 13, 14, or maybe 12 miles an hour more faster, which for those cars as close as they are to each other, that's a lot of extra speed. So anyway, It's interesting that the top 5 cars really are not making any impression on each other as we watch. Who is it? Oh, we're watching Alonso go past George Russell. Ocon's in the pits. Magnussen's in the pits. These are all planned pit stops for those guys on a 2-stop strategy. So we're probably going to see one more out of these guys in about 10 to 15 laps. That'll see them put the soft tires on for the final 10 to 12 laps of the race. And I'm really sorry that my allergies are really bad this morning. They didn't start off that way, but my little podcast studio up here in an upstairs room in my house decides every now and then just to give me grief. And today is one of those days when it's going to give me grief. So maybe during the off period here, because like I said yesterday, this is the last race for actually till the last weekend of August as the teams take their summer break. For all those folks in the US, August is the vacation time for the Europeans. Most European businesses and everything shut down for the month of August. And they all get a 1-month bonus in their pay. I say all, most of them, if they're on salaries and stuff like that. But a lot of European countries have gone to contractor status for a lot of their workers because the laws that over there in some of these countries, Holland, if I remember, you can get a note from your doctor saying you're finding driving too stressful. I mean, you're finding working too stressful, so you need a couple of weeks off, and the doctor just writes you a note, and you take a couple of weeks off, and the employer has to keep paying you. So anyway, back to the thing. So anyway, the month of August, they're pretty much gone. So the makes sense for Formula One to also take that month off. As we watch it, it looks like the rain. Yeah, we see blue skies and everything. So the threat of rain has gone away. Hulkenberg has now come out with the fastest lap. These tires are making a big difference on the speed for these cars, because as we noted, Hulkenberg came in and got tires, and what's interesting, he's gone to the soft tire, so he's probably doing medium, soft, medium, and going to use the tire advantage to get up through the field. So the tires are making quite a big difference here. As we're on lap 28, coming up for lap 29. So we're a good 3/4 of the way through the race nearly now, another couple of laps. And nothing is changing up front other than Hamilton is back in the pits again. Why would that be again? Let's see what he's got. He just went to slicks. He's put another set of slicks on. What are they? Oh, he's gone to the hard tire. So he has gone to, no. Let me put my brain back. He's gone to, he's gone to soft. Yeah. He's gone to the soft tire. So he's going on that two-stop strategy, and he's going to try and use these soft tires to really try and make up some pace. But he's 3 seconds, behind. No, that's going to change in a minute. I can't see that Alonso's 18 seconds behind Leclerc, but he might be. So Russell is 20 seconds behind. Now they've got to update the clock. There's something very, very wrong with that clock. So at the end of this lap, the clock will reset, and we'll see what it is. Right now we're on board with Pierre Gasly, who is in 11th position right now, and making a fast pace coming up on Alex Albon. So we'll see how he does. I think he's going to get past him there, and is that right? Hamilton's only 1.3 seconds behind Alonso, but that's the 19. And if it's showing Alonso 19 seconds, and Leclerc is coming into the pits. So I think we're going to see the top guys now going to the soft tire. Let's see what he's put on. And let's see if I can see the wall. Yeah, he's gone to soft tires also. So they're going to the soft tires with 12, 13 laps. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. They're all changing tires for the and finishing up on soft tires. So Leclerc is 24 seconds behind Perez. Hamilton has passed Alonso. So just as I was saying that the top 5 or 6 positions were not going to change, some tire strategy here is changing a lot of stuff. But Leclerc just came in for tires, and he has a 24-second gap between him and Perez. But Hamilton and Leclerc both came in for tires, so I believe that Leclerc should be able to hang on to that podium position there. I think that Verstappen needs to come in for tires now, because he's got a 33-second lead, so he can wait a few laps. So let's see. Alonso is up in 5th. George Russell's 21 seconds behind. So Alonso's safe in that 5th position. So maybe the Aston Martin's recovered a little bit. Stroll is in 8th position. So yeah, you would have to say it's not a bad day for Aston Martin. Not a bad day for Ferrari, not good. And we've got Sergio Perez now coming into pits, and no doubt he's also taking on the soft tyre. Very nice change there, 2.2 seconds. So yeah, it's some interesting goings on, what's interesting is there's been so much going on in this race. It's kind of funny, but we haven't really noticed how quickly the race has gone by, because every lap there's been something interesting happening here. And now we're going to watch Alonso come in. Yes, all your leaders, your top 5, 6, 7 positions, are all coming in for tires. There's a little slow stop, that one, 3.3. Now they're bringing in Max Verstappen, and so he will come in. He's got a 27-second lead on Perez, so he's going to come in and get new tires and go back out, and he's still going to be comfortably in 6, 7, 8 second lead in first position. Leclerc is opening up now that gap to Hamilton. So as I thought, after they both stopped for tires, after that pit stop, it certainly Leclerc has a better car than the Mercedes. George Russell, I believe, is going to challenge Alonso for that 5th position, but Alonso also just got new tires. And he's thanking his pit for a good job, but I don't think 3.3 seconds was a good job. It was, in fact, yesterday when Verstappen got 3.4 seconds, remember I said he had a bad pit stop. So it just shows the relative, another nice pit stop for Verstappen there, 2.3 seconds. But it just shows you the relative degree of proficiency, efficiency, professionalism, everything from team to team. Alonso thinks 3.3 seconds is really good, and Red Bull was going, what went wrong at the same time? So yeah, interesting. So right now, Verstappen's got a 9.5 second lead on his teammate after that pit stop. And Perez has a 3 second lead on Leclerc, who has a 2.5 second lead on Hamilton, who's got, let's see, so pits. So everybody's done 2 pit stops except George Russell and Lance Stroll. So we'll have to see. Oh, and Pierre Gasly. Yeah, Pierre Gasly got a lot of run time out of those soft tires that he started the race on. Very nice job. We have to give him the new title of Tire King, because he did an incredible job. So right now, Red Bull is going to have another good day. Sergio Perez is going to solidify his position as the number 2 driver going forward. There was talk that he might actually not be around with Red Bull next year due to the bad times that he's been experiencing of late. But obviously with last week and this week, although he didn't have the best of qualifying, he's certainly going to prove that he is worthy of that drive in that car. The other thing, of course, they have to think long and hard. Whoever hires Sergio Perez, they have to think long and hard about getting rid of him, because he brings a lot of money to the table. One of his, in fact, his major sponsor is one of the richest guys in the world, and it's the guy that owns the Mexican telecom company, and he owns a bunch more other than that, but he's a very wealthy businessman, industrialist, and he is a major supporter of Sergio Perez and the team that Sergio Perez drives for. All right, so where are we at the bottom of the field? So at the bottom of the field, we got Piastri and Carlos Sainz out, and then we've got Joe Granu, Logan Sargent, Danny Ricciardo, and then the 2 Haas's pulling up 15th and 14th. So Haas, I think, could have had a better day. Pierre Gasly could have had a better day. Had a great day yesterday. You used a lot of tire on the outlap, Max. Not sure that was sensible. Okay. So yeah, he gained another full second on Perez, and he really didn't need to. But just think about this. The cars can tell. The engineers can tell how much tire these guys are using up as they go around the track. So back to Pierre Gasly, kind of disappointing day for him. Yuki Tsunoda up in the top 10, a good day for him. And a good day for the Aston Martins at number 5 and number 8 right now. Lando Norris has done himself proud. He's now up there into 7th position. I don't believe. So now we just found out why Verstappen went out so fast, and that was to get the fastest lap. And is it ever fast? It's a full 1 second ahead of the last fastest lap. So he wanted that 1 extra point. So that's kind of interesting. And we're watching Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly battling it out for the 11th position. And Gasly won that battle. So now he's got to take away Pierre Gasly. And he's got DRS on him because he's only half a second out. In fact, they've got themselves a little DRS train going there. All 3 of them are not more than a second between them. So they'll swap positions backwards and forwards. And it's just a matter of time till we find out who's going to end up in what position. And when I say time, it's probably going to be the last lap. Valtteri Bottas up there in 13th. Where's his teammate? His teammates all the way back in 18th. So Alfa Romeo, he had another disappointing day out for those guys. They've not really had a really good race all season. They've had a couple of good practice sessions, but you'd expect that team to be consistently in the top 5, and then not. And who are we watching? Well, yeah, we're watching Bottas with DRS. So what's happening now is Gasly passes Albon, Bottas passes Albon, and then Albon and then he passes Gasly. So we got 3 guys there swapping positions between the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Pierre Gasly, we're watching a replay of him passing Alex Albon. So that means it's getting boring out there for those professionals guys at Sky Sports, that they've got to replay what was really just a pretty normal pass, given the fact that they got DRS and the other car does not. And so we're asking for the Vote Overtake Award of the day. I'm going to give it to again. They started that a long time ago, right? With these guys on the DRS, I don't want to give it to one of them. I'm going to give it to Lando Norris because he did come all the way back up from 19th now so the team is still going off on Max Verstappen, telling him to use his head a little more, because he's opened up another 2 seconds on his teammate, and he doesn't need to do it. He does not need to add any more time. He only needs to win the race by half a second. Why spend all of that time? Why take the risk of scrubbing your tires so badly like that? It just does not make sense. He's got the killer instinct, but there's at what point do you just say, does it matter if you win by 1 second, half a second, or 13 seconds? Not really. Doesn't make any difference at all. The only thing that a nice gap gives you is Verstappen saying, I could also push on, and we do another stop a little bit on pit stop train. And of course his team's coming back. No, Max, no, we're just going to stay out there, right? do a little pit stop training. You don't think they've done as many pit stops as they've done? You think they need more pit stop training? I'm sure his race engineer is going absolutely nuts. So we've got, what do we got? We've got nine laps left in this race, and I think we can predict the podium is going to be Verstappen, Perez, and Leclerc. And the top 5 is going to be Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, and Hamilton, and either Alonso or Russell. But Alonso has been maintaining a pretty decent gap between himself and Russell. And you say Alonso is using his brain, and Verstappen is not, because Alonso just opens up the gap as he feels it needs to. So he'll drop down to, right now he's at 1.9, but then he'll open it back up to 2.2. So he's just maintaining the pace that Russell's maintaining to maintain that position. In the meantime, Lando Norris is 5 seconds behind George Russell, and I think the McLaren's got a better straight line speed, and as we watch Gasly trying to pass Valtteri Bottas, it's interesting. I got it wrong. It's actually Tsunoda trying to pass Esteban Ocon, or Ocon trying to pass Tsunoda. It's hard. The camera position's way up in the air, right? And let's see what the TV's saying. The TV's saying it's Ocon trying to pass Tsunoda. So anyway, he didn't do it. He's got half a second, so he's got DRS if he needs it. But as we saw last week, Tsunoda does quite a good job of defending his position. Not unlike Alex Albon, who now finds himself in 17th with Logan Sargent in 18th. In fact, out of the running cars, they're dead last. And they were all the way up there. So tire strategy, something has made those cars slower. Danny Ricciardo I don't think has had a great day. He's in 15th position right now, and his teammate is in 9th. I think we should have expected a little more out of Danny. I don't think that he might get up to 12th, maybe 11th or 12th. We'll see. But a driver of that caliber should be getting past these other slower cars, although it looks like that the Haas cars have had pretty decent speed, straight line speed today. And this track, if you've got straight line speed, this track is your friend. If you don't, then this track is not your friend. So right now, with 7 laps to go, George Russell has closed that gap a little bit to 1.7 seconds. Excuse me, as I take care of my allergies again. He has closed it a little bit, and it looks like Tsunoda is going to take away the 7th position from what happened to Lando Norris. He ended up completely off the track there, going over the curbs, and you see yellow and red paint flying up everywhere. So Tsunoda is looks like going to take that 8th position away from Lance Stroll. That little mishap didn't seem to upset Lando Norris's position as it relates to where he's going to finish the race, but of course it did knock him back about a second and a half from having any chance of getting past George Russell for that 6th position. So I can't say that Mercedes are going to be very happy with today. They made a lot of upgrades to the car over the first half of the season here, and they really haven't gained that much on the Red Bull. Right now, they're sitting at 14, 18, 19, 21. They're sitting 22 seconds behind Max Verstappen, and that's half a second a lap. It's a 44-lap race. 22 seconds behind means that Verstappen's putting half a second a lap on them. And in this type of racing, half a second a lap is a huge gap. They've got a long way to go. A thousandth of a second is something that you can say, okay, we might just be able to get them this race if they do a couple of mistakes. But half a second, no, it's not even close. It's not even close racing. So anyway, we're watching Danny Ricciardo trying to make his way up through the field here, and it's good news for the guys at MoneyGram because we are seeing driver position shots from those Haas cars, which gives the MoneyGram guys all of the rewards for spending that money. So let's apex speed for Danny Ricciardo, 261, 245. And who is it? Father, we're watching Carlos Sainz watching the race instead of driving the race. So his mistakes cost him in the beginning, and certainly cost poor Oscar Piastri badly. It knocked Oscar out of the race completely. So not a good show for Carlos Sainz. You know, the other interesting thing that we have not seen any decisions on the Hamilton collision with Pierre Gasly earlier on. It's so windy, I have to hold the wheel really tight. Wow, that's interesting. That's coming from Max Verstappen, who is... Why, Max? He's opened up another... He's now got 15.5 second lead on his teammate. So by the end of this race, in fact, it will not be half a second between himself and the Mercedes each lap. It will be closer to 3/4 of a second because now he's opened up another second. Something's got to be going on with these cars. So we've got 16, 20, 22, 23. He's at 24 seconds now ahead of Hamilton, which really, quite frankly, is if I'm Mercedes, I'd be a little embarrassed. I mean, he's going to finish 20 seconds ahead of the Ferrari, and we're watching another replay here of Ocon and Tsunoda, and Tsunoda blocking Ocon. Ocon gets by on the inside of the turn because he's got DRS, and Tsunoda doesn't. That's just the way that it goes in Formula One. Back to the race again. It's really now, and it's good. We have 5 laps to go, and this race is really settled out. In fact, I would say now all of the positions have been decided. And just looking at it, it's Verstappen, of course, followed by Perez, followed by Leclerc, and then Hamilton, and then Alonso, Russell, and Norris. Norris is losing a couple of seconds, about half a second a lap to George Russell, who's now losing about 1/4 of a second a lap to Alonso. And then you've got Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas. Then the 2 cars from Haas, Magnussen and Hülkenberg. Then Danny Ricciardo. Then Joe Granu in the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri, sorry. And then the 2 Williams of Albon and Sargent. So not a good day for Williams. I thought they were going to have a really good day on this track because they have a lot of straight line speed. Obviously, they're lacking something else. Or maybe they don't have the straight line speed that we thought they did. Anyway, I don't understand Max Verstappen. He's putting a second a lap on his teammate. He's up to 17 seconds now. And I don't understand why you would want to... Yeah, I can understand why you want to win the race as fast as you can. I don't understand why you would want to take so many risks. Because remember, especially on this track, and as we saw earlier, he nearly lost it when it was really dark clouds and probably with those clouds was a lot of wind, and it's just I think just not worth the risk, and so they're asking for the vote for the driver of the day. got Verstappen leading it. Now, I wouldn't put Verstappen on that. I mean, yes, he came up from fifth, but he's got the car that nobody else has. I would certainly put Norris up there. I'd put Alonso up there. I'd put Yuki Tsunoda up there, and that's about it. But I wouldn't put Verstappen up there as the driver of the day, because the car that he has, if you don't win the race, then you're just not very good. So there was no real spectacular driving from him. It was just a normal day. But I think Lando Norris would probably get the deserving title of driving of the day. They don't make a big deal out of it these days as they did a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. You know, they used to announce it over Sky Sports. They'd announce it, and I know, folks, you keep hearing me talk about Sky Sports, and you're all, if you are watching it, you're watching it on ESPN. And that is because Sky Sports has the global contract for Formula One worldwide, and they supply feeds to all of the other channels all over the world. So Sky Sports is the primary source for all of the commentary, all of the TV feed and everything. And so that's why you hear me talk about Sky Sports and not ESPN. ESPN just pays the rights to rebroadcast what Sky Sports is broadcasting. And to give you some idea, $3 million a year. $3 million a year. And if you look at the sponsorship, it's usually, last year it was actually for a couple of years, it was that polish company, and shows you what a great idea it was for them. Mother's Polish. I just remembered it. So Mother's Polish, Mother's Wax. This year it's Mercedes, but you just don't see it like they used to during the grid portion, the very early, the first hour they would have it. They would tell you about this Formula One race is brought to you exclusively by, it'll be Mother's. This year it's Mercedes, but you get it at the beginning and you get it at the end. So it's interesting. They don't, although they're putting the money in to pay for the broadcast rights, they don't actually make a lot of money out of it. So you have to ask yourself, why would you do it? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because it brings so many other things. It brings you to what has ESPN got going today? What sport? So it's advertising for ESPN themselves. Obviously, they do make money from these sponsorships, but on the IndyCar racing, they have the split screen where you can watch the race and you got the advertisers, which I think was pretty effective. That actually started with soccer probably 15, 18 years ago, where they started having like a picture-in-picture for the sponsors, or they just had a little banner across the top of the screen for who was sponsoring that portion of the broadcast. But the split screen, I think, is quite effective. It certainly helps the teams and helps the broadcasters pay for the IndyCar racing, and you see it in NASCAR as well. Anyway, so we're back to the race. We've got 2 laps to go. And Max Verstappen is opening up. I'm telling you, this is crazy. A full second a lap. So he is now 26, 28, 29 seconds ahead of the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Let's see, Magnussen is moving up the field quite nicely. He was back down there in 15th position, just ahead of his teammate. And he is now up to 13th, and probably, let's see, he's going to take, he's going to take 14th, but he's not. He's going to finish 13th. All right, so we've got to redo that finishing order that I gave you just a little bit, because those guys at the back of the field have been battling out for position. And of course, especially The top 10 make a big deal because that's constructors championships, but also positions throughout make a big deal because it determines how much money you get from Formula One to put towards your car. And we've got in pit lane, we've got Hamilton coming in, and of course he's coming in to get the fastest lap is what he's doing. So he gets himself another set of tires, gets back out there, and he's going to try and get the fastest lap. But all that's going to do is, he'll get the fastest lap, but where's it going to put him? Is he still ahead of Alonso? Yes. So he's 20, so Alonso cannot be 20. It might be a battle between him and Alonso now for 5th place. Oh no, they're showing an updated time now. 6 seconds. So now though, that puts him 20, 26, 56 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. So that 1 point they consider very important. Didn't really cost him in position or anything. So yeah, why not try for it? It's probably not a bad move. But in the top 5 of actually really the top 10, it's showing you really how non-competitive Formula One racing is, and that you have such huge differences. As we watch Alex Albon now try and take that position back from Kevin Magnussen, and he is going to do it. And so the whole bottom, not 10, but the bottom 15 is going to change up a little bit. I mean, we're talking 1 or 2 positions, that's all. So it's not that big a deal. And we are on the last lap. And so I would assume that Lewis Hamilton, who went out on medium tires, that's interesting. I don't know if he'll get that fastest lap, because Max Verstappen just opened up another second on him. Interesting. So, as we're coming to the end, the top 5 have not changed. It's Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Alonso, followed by George Russell. Alonso did a really nice job there of moving away from Russell at one time. Russell was just 1.5 seconds, 1.7 seconds ahead of him, and we're starting to see all the fans celebrate with orange for the Max Verstappen victory. Back to George Russell. So Alonso did a nice job. So a good day all in all for Mercedes and Red Bull. For the rest of the field, if I'm Mercedes, I'm not happy. If I'm actually come on, John. If I'm the folks at McLaren, I'm not happy. I'm certainly unhappy with Carlos Sainz knocking my guy off the track altogether, as Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez come across the finish line. We should take this opportunity to thank our other sponsor, and that is Thenology. Thenology is a small data center in Austin, Texas. So if you guys have got co-location needs, if you've got, private cloud, public cloud, good old plain storage, whatever your technology needs are, then you need to give the folks at Thenology a call or go online. You can call them at 512-670-3930, or you can go online at thenology.com. So we've got a yellow flag. Somebody spun out in sector 1 on the last lap of the race. So that's not really going to change much. So at the back end of the field, at the end of the day, Ocon, from the eighth position back, it was Stroll and Hamilton did in fact get the fastest lap. So he grabbed 1 more point away from Max Verstappen, who is so many points ahead that it really doesn't matter. But anyway, as Verstappen gets out of his car, he has to wait, half a minute or a minute for the others to catch up. But the middle of the field, and they just took that away from me as they show Verstappen getting out of his car. How many races? I think that's 15 races in a row now. So that's very good. And as the chairman of F1 comes up and congratulates Max, and his teammate Perez congratulates him. So everybody is, I guess, happy with the day. Like I said, I don't know whether McLaren should be, Ferrari can't be. Certainly Aston Martin can. I don't think Williams at the end of the day can be happy. I think that what Alex Albon did manage to get up to 11th place. But at the end of the day, I think Williams were expecting better. As we watch, Martin Brundle is getting ready to do the end of race interviews. So anyway, that brings to a close this week's edition of the Formula One News Hour. Of course, I'm Jonathan Steele, your host, and we will be taking some time off and doing some history. So we don't have races, so we'll take some time off and figure out how we can do some more history on Formula One, something that I really enjoy doing. And with a busy schedule and other things, and the way the races have gone, I really haven't had much chance of doing a history in the last few weeks. So we're going to do a history of Formula One for the next week's podcast. The next live stream, of course, will be the race coming up at the last weekend of August. And Verstappen did get voted driver of the day. Not my choice, because I don't think that the driving was really that great. As he gets congratulated by Mr. Horner, the team principal of Red Bull, who was just giving him grief about taking unnecessary risks on his tires. But anyway, as I said, we'll do a thing on history, and we can't close out any Formula One News Hour session podcast without thanking our incredibly talented and diligent and all things great Andre Kuhn, our producer, and everything else to Formula One. I just sit here and talk. He makes it, puts it all together, and makes it what it is. So thank you, Andre. So until the next time, this is Jonathan Steele saying have a great rest of your weekend.